Hello, hello, King here, back with another Let's Play. This is going to be a one-shot Let's Play of the Super Nintendo game Hyperzone. And I'm actually going to turn the music up just a hair because I can't hear it. There we go. And yeah, you got to see a quick sneak peek there. This was released in 1991 by HAL of America. You may recognize the name HAL from the Kirby series. That's right, this is the same creator of the Kirby series, and that's kind of odd when you really stop and think about it. This is a pretty standard go forward and shooter, and I am playing terribly right now. The goal is to go forward and you shoot things. That's pretty much the entire concept of the game. As you can see there, I've got a, life meter, I've got a score meter. Oh, a score meter. Good lord, listen to me. You can slow down. Slowing down too much will actually start to damage your ship, as well as flying outside of the barriers. Now, one thing that I love about this game is the soundtrack. It's one of my favorite game soundtracks, actually. The composer was the same composer who did the Kirby games. Her name escapes me. Her first name was June, and I cannot remember her family name to save my life. But yeah, this is the gameplay. It doesn't get much more complicated than this. You fly forward, you shoot things. The blue strips there will replenish your life. Score is actually very important. You want to get a high score for reasons that I'll explain when it becomes relevant. Suffice to say, the important score point is right at about 30,000. And again, I'll go over that if and when, well, not if, but when we hit that point. Currently, I am doing just absolutely terribly. I am definitely not going to hit 30,000 for this first stage, which I was hoping to, but that's actually kind of a tall order. It's not very easy to hit that mark at 100 points an enemy. Although I'm doing pretty not bad here. I'm taking some damage, but hitting most of my targets, which is always good. Let's see if I can hit 17 enemies in this spot. I don't think that I can, because the boss will give you 5,000. Nope. Very close. If I had been paying just a little bit more attention at the beginning, I could have hit it. Oh well. So the boss is coming up here, and he is just an absolute joke. Most of the bosses in this game are pretty easy. See, I'm not even really worried about any damage that I take, because he's dead. There's a special point bonus you can get if you end at 333 speed, but that's also ridiculously hard to do. It's more of an Easter egg than anything. So I'm probably going to hit 30,000 here in the first few seconds of this stage. That's okay. Now this is where the game actually starts to pick up a little bit of difficulty. This is where pretty much all of the enemies are either going to have very erratic patterns or start shooting at you, or in many cases both. So you want to constantly be moving, and you start to have some more interesting stage hazards. As you can see, this game uses, or takes gratuitous use of the Mode 7 feature on the Super Nintendo, and I am taking a ton of damage. A lot of launch titles for consoles, since consoles were a thing, really did this. They wanted to showcase the technical aspects of the console. So a lot of early Super Nintendo games were all about the Mode 7. You had to showcase the Mode 7 the game could do. Which that's not necessarily a bad thing. It gave us this game, which some people call this more of a tech demo than an actual full-fledged game. I disagree. I think that this is a fantastic game. It's very short. You can beat it in between 30 and 40 minutes. But it's fun. It does exactly what it sets out to do without being any more complicated than that. And for that I respect it. I'm going to cut over here. I don't mind taking a little bit of damage from the middle if it means getting life back from the life strips. There we go. When I was a kid, I always thought those looked like meatballs. I think they're supposed to be angry meteors or something like that. Little comets or something. I always loved flying in this section. Little itty-bitty hairpin turns. go. As you can see, I absolutely flew past the 30,000 mark. That was super easy. And you may not have noticed, but I actually got an extra life when I did that. There we go. And that boss is also very easy. Give me just one moment. Sorry about that. As I mentioned in my Kirby's Dream Land 3 video, I am still just a bit congested. So I may have to clear my throat from time to time. I do apologize. Alright, well, we are on to Stage 3, the Old Capital. And if you notice, our HUD at the top has changed. And our old ship is being worked on and taken away. And we got this awesome new ship. Now, I used to know all of the ships' names. I do not know them anymore. I know that the first ship is the BM-4. And I know that this ship is the H-Wing. No relation to Star Wars, of course. And that's about the extent of my knowledge. Oh, by the way, we get this awesome charge shot with the really nifty charge meter at the top. Now, every time you hit a score marker that gives you an extra life, you also get a ship upgrade at the beginning of the next stage. Oh man, I'm getting destroyed here. I don't like this section because enemies flying from behind you, and you don't have any reliable way to dodge them. I think that's a little bit unfair, honestly. There we go. I don't like not being able to react to things. I feel like if the game's gonna punch me in the face, it should at least have the decency to punch me in the face and not the back of the head. This was a mistake. I should not have done this. I'm already at full life. Being on this narrow strip really hampers my ability to dodge, but it's okay, because I managed to get out with full health anyway. Yeah, the charge shot is great. Those things normally take 4 shots to destroy, and charge shot just says nope to all of that. Awesome, and we got another extra life. That's good. I'm about to start taking a ton of damage here. I can feel it. It's so hard to dodge things that you can't see. I really don't like these spots. To me, this is one of the harder stages in the game because of this right here, actually, is your inability to react to things. And there we go. I think the graphics and the music in this game are absolutely gorgeous. Like, the backgrounds, I think, are very vibrant and colorful. I think they do exactly what they set out to do. Almost full. That wasn't a bad charge up. Okay. And the boss is basically a Super Famicom controller. The 4 colors there actually correlate to the Super Famicom button layout, rather than the 2 purple and 2 lavender layout of the Super Nintendo. I always liked that boss. It's usually pretty hard. It gives me quite a bit of trouble, but that time it went pretty smoothly, actually. Right, and on to another stage, Grassland. And sure enough, as always, our ship is being hauled away, and we got this guy. I have no idea what this one's called. Nor do I know really any of the others except for the last one, because the last one's cool. And the charge shot shape changed, and it charges up a little bit faster. Also, the bullets are red, which is super important because red means powerful. I don't actually think that the bullets do any more damage than the other ones, but, you know. It's a nice little cosmetic change. I also love that the graphics for the charge meter change. And they're going to change with every ship, and to me, as a kid, that was always the coolest thing. We'll go down the middle path, because I think that's going to be the safest one. Alright, and we've already gotten ourselves another extra life, which means another ship upgrade. Can I get a double? Nope, almost, though. And cut over. That was a little bit of damage, but that wasn't bad. And once you start getting ship upgrades, the charge shot really becomes the best way of dealing with stages. See, this stage in particular really sounds like it could be straight out of Kirby, and I think that's awesome. I really wish I was in the middle right now, but that's okay. slow down to get the most life I can, and jut across. That wasn't too bad. 1 point of damage isn't bad. Section reminds me of a spot in Venom on the first Star Fox game. Speaking of Star Fox, I should really do a Let's Play of the Star Fox 2 beta on the Super Nintendo. If you haven't ever heard of that, I would definitely look into it. It's got a really interesting development history, and it was 95% completed before the project was dropped, and it did end up getting leaked online, which is super neat. And I get the twofer. Yes! Got it that time. And took a bunch of damage for it, but that's okay, it was worth it. Points are more important, right? Almost full health. Darn. And we're coming up on the boss now. It's just a big flower. You can't damage the center until you've destroyed all the petals, which is why I'm using the charge shots here. You can get more damage per second with your regular shot, but because I'm hitting, you know, up to 6 targets at a time, I would rather just use the charge shot. You know, AoE versus single target damage. Yay, MMO logic. There we go. And now I'm gonna switch to this. Fortunately, hitting this guy is a little bit tricky because his pattern's a bit erratic, and you also want to dodge his shots too. But I've pretty much got this boss on lock at this point. There we go. That wasn't so bad. And of course, in the next stage, we're upgrading to what is my personal favorite design visually. I really like the way that this one looks. I should have tried for the point bonus. Oh well. I've never successfully gotten it. I've only read about it online, so it could not even be a thing, but I can definitely see where it would be. There we go. I have no idea what this guy's called, but I think he looks super awesome. Like, really sleek and dashing. It's like the sports car of deadly flying spaceships. I love this composer's work. Like, she just makes the best music. I'd say as far as, like, music and games go, she's one of my favorite composers. I think Toby Fox is probably my favorite, though, because the Undertale soundtrack is just incredible. I've had a couple people actually ask me when I'm going to do a Let's Play of Undertale. I am not going to be doing one. I can't do the game justice at this point because it is always best experienced as blind as possible. And I have just devoured that game time and time again already, and I've done tons of research on it, and I've looked into all of the little everything's in it, and I at this point I know too much. I can't play the game. But I definitely encourage anybody who watches this to check it out. Oh, that was a trick. Okay. I was really hoping to get more life back than that. That was not nearly enough for my taste. There we go. That was good. And I'm back to full health. And I'm no longer at full health. That was a short-lived dream. One other thing I forgot to mention is ship upgrades, I believe, actually slightly extend your life bar. I'm not counting the number of individual bars there are there. If somebody in the comments wants to, that'd be great, because I don't want to do it. There we go. This section is just bullet hell. There's so many bullets. Alright, I think we're coming up on the boss now. I really like this boss. I think it's neat. It's very similar to the Stage 2 boss, but with a neat little gimmick of that it will actually fly around in the background, and I'm not doing so hot against him right now. What I like to do is I like to hang out on the bottom and nail him, like... it didn't work that time. And nail him, like, right as he flies in front of me so I can just drill him with machine gun shots. Oh, man, I keep missing. This is embarrassing. Goodness. Got him. There we go. Alright, and another life, which You guys know what that means. Another ship. I'm kind of happy that I haven't lost a life yet, knock on wood. This coming up stage is usually where I lose my first life, but hopefully that won't happen. I think this ship, while I don't find it super visually appealing, I think it has my favorite charge-up animation. I think it's really neat. Like, look at that, that's so classy. And it charges up really fast. And this section is very hard to fly through because it tries to use mode 7 for, you know, pseudo 3D, and it's kind of hard to tell where you're actually supposed to be dodging. So I just try to stick to the bottom and hope for the best. And it worked out really nicely that time. I didn't get hit. Sweet. There we go. I'm really racking up the points this time. I don't even need the health strip there. Not that those two things are related. I'm not really sure why I phrased it as if they were. See, it's just habit for me to fly towards the health, even though I don't need it. I missed one, darn. I always like to try to get all of them in those clusters. It's just a fun little goal of mine that I like to set. Also, running directly into the giant green crackers, whatever they're supposed to be. There's a lot of the art in this game is very abstract. Like, I'm not actually sure what I'm shooting half the time. Like the big squares that take several hits to kill, and one charge shot because everything dies to charge shots. And more plasma dodging. Ah, too high. And yes, this is the most annoying noise ever. This is worse than the Zelda heart beeping. I got it pretty high. That wasn't a bad amount. Alright, we're coming up to the next boss. Sweet. This is similar to the first one. I think it's supposed to be like an upgraded model, but you have to take out the 4 corners of it before you can damage the middle. Which again is why I'm using the charge shot. Come on. Stop being a punk. Just die already. Nobody likes you. And as you heard earlier, I got another extra life. And I think we all know what that means at this point. I do not need to tell you that the ship is upgrading. You already know, so I'm not going to say that the ship is upgrading. See? That's me mixing it up. It's called keeping your commentary fresh for a game that is largely not changing at all. Alright, we are on to the final ship, which is your first ship, but it has been upgraded. It is the... I can't actually remember what it's called, but who cares? Because it's awesome. I think it's called like the BM4 Special, or BM4 Custom, something like that. But it fires charge shots at a ridiculous pace. And this music is so hardcore, and everything is flashing and all like biological and stuff. This is probably my favorite stage in the game. Because it has a really cool gimmick later in it, and I wish I would have seen just a little bit more innovation like this in the earlier stages, but I digress. Oh, these enemies are really cool. You have to shoot them once to get them to fly at you, and then you can actually shoot them again, but I'm not doing that very well. There we go. I thought I could fly under that. I was mistaken, apparently. That's right, I can shoot way faster than I have been. Alright, sweet. Yeah, the charge shots from this thing are just insane. Like, this thing is easily the best ship in the game. I think the way that the points are supposed to be spread out is you're expected to get this on the last stage, but it is obviously possible to get it on this one. I don't think that there's really any way to reasonably amass points to get it earlier than this, though. Oh, that was awful. And here's the part that I like. You have to fly over strips that damage you, but every, like, strip of actual land is a healing spot, which I think is really cool gimmick, honestly. Like, I really love that spot. It's my favorite spot in the entire game, actually. And we're on to the boss, which is this big cluster of things. And you can only damage it when it flies, like, to actually travel. You can't damage it when it's in the cluster form. I should probably stop flying out of the area and taking a bunch of unnecessary damage. Oh, I totally whiffed. Darn it. See, this is awkward, because it's in the cluster form, but there's only one, so it just looks really silly. Can I get it? Can I get it? Nope, 324. That's really hard to do. Alright, Area 7 clear, and we are on to the final area, which is the Hyperzone. Oh my gosh, it's where the game gets its namesake. But I actually do think this stage is really pretty. I love the side background things. And this stage is pretty much just a boss rush in a very peculiar order, though. You start with the second boss, which is laughably easy, now that you've got this insanely overpowered ship. And then it goes to the third boss, I believe. There we go. Easy peasy. I mean, I'm probably going to lose a couple lives in this stage, but I've got, what is that, 7 extra lives? 8 total? Yeah, it's going to be cake. This thing is just such a boss killer. Like, this is how you amass power in a game. Like, I feel powerful in this thing, and I honestly did feel kind of weak in, like, you know, in the H-Wing and in the starter ship. I just took like 3 or 4 hits in that. That was not good. I feel powerful. Loses 2/3 of his health. I might just stick with charge shots for this, because it's so much easier to hit him with them. Oh! Wow, I didn't think that was going to clip me. Alright, I gotta spend more time dodging and less time on the offense. Got him. Man, I'm kind of sad that I lost a life that soon, but oh well. I've got a ton more, and this is not a problem. Oh, look, it's this guy. I wonder if I should do charge shots to try to hit all of the segments at once, actually. Yeah, I think I'm going to try that and see how that works. That seems to work pretty well, actually. Oh man, I totally missed that time. And I don't know why I didn't keep trying it that time. Perfect. Well, not perfect, it took a point of damage, but, you know, good enough. And now for some reason we go backwards in a boss, and I don't know why. He's just as easy as the first time. Oh, I'm surprised he hit me. There we go. game kind of reminds me of a mix of F-Zero and Space Harrier, but it's, in my personal opinion, better than both of those games. I was never a big fan of either of them, but I love Hyperzone for some reason. I think it's just got a good aesthetic to it. I also have a lot of nostalgia with it. I played this as a kid a ton. And this is the final boss, a big brain thing. And I don't understand the purpose of this. He doesn't really damage you. You can't damage him. He's just, ooh, look at my big sprite and cower in fear. Well played, sir. Oh man, he is actually kind of wrecking me. See, the reason I'm using charge shots is because I don't feel confident that I can get all up in his grill like I was before. But yeah, now he's dead. And the final area has been cleared. Game beat. I am the winner. Lost a couple lives on the last stage. No big deal. Right, we get to see the names of all of the enemies. Most of the enemies, because the purple 10's not there, and I don't know why. Which I would consider a vastly different enemy since it shot at you, but anyway. I think this is kind of neat. Some of the enemies have really funny names. Like Dislike. I feel like that should be the new reaction image. I didn't like this video, just dislike, a picture of that right there. In fact, where's my print screen button? Oh, too late. I'll have to beat the game again and take a picture of that. I like Egger and Chin. I feel like there's something lost in translation with ton, chin, and can, but I could just be looking into that too much. Momoki, Hooky, and Nyok. Nyok, nyok, nyok. I'm sorry, that joke wasn't funny. I apologize. UFO, which I feel like was supposed to be UFO, because it's vaguely shaped like a flying saucer, but I could be wrong. Tetra, Chak, Rarg, or is it Rarge? Dustbox, Pot, a Yoka Berry. Man, I hated those things so much. The beam shooters that made it hard to dodge up and down. Pycet. Womacy. I think Pycet's supposed to be a play on like Eyeset, like eyeball, but I could be totally wrong about that too. And Team Hyperzone. Jun Ishikawa, that's her name. I couldn't remember it for the life of me, and I felt really bad because I love her work. I love her work at the Kirby games, I love it in this. I need to look into see what else she's done music for, and then proceed to play those games too. And the HAL Laboratory logo from that point. That's a fun, quick game. To me, this is like a comfort food game. Like, it's short, it's nostalgic, it makes me feel comfortable. I feel like this would be a good game to play, like, if I had to call in sick from work and I didn't feel good, but I wanted to do something, I would load this up and give it a go. And waiting for the logo to go by. And the game gives you what is essentially New Game Plus. You start over with your score, your lives, and your ship from before. I'm going to go ahead and pause that. I'm going to end this recording. Thank you very much for watching, and have a nice night.